Is the new Audi e-tron GT the coolest electric car in the world? Well, in this video, we're going to find out, because I'm going to talk you around everything you need to know about this car, take it for a drive and check out its performance. Believe it or not, this is actually the international launch of this car, and normally Audi would be having some launch event, probably in the south of France or somewhere glamorous like that, but instead I've had to pick this car up from Milton Keynes, so I'm just filming it in this location in the suburbs. Still, I have got the high performance RS version of this car, so it's a case of swings and roundabouts. I'm Matt Watson, and you're watching Car Wow. I'm feeling a bit sick. Ugh. Let's kick off this video by talking about the price. So this e-tron GT starts at just under £81,000, rising all the way up to £133,000 for this range-topping RS version in Vorsprung carbon trim. So it's quite a lot of money then. Let's talk about the e-tron GT's design, because this car, it looks stunning. In fact, Audi's design team, I would like to congratulate you on a job very, very well done. I mean, look at it, it's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, especially like it in this optional green paint. I think if I was having this car, I would have this paint scheme. It's very brave, but it's also very, very cool. Tell you what's also cool, this big light bar across the back and the 3D effect of the lights. You've got a deployable spoiler there, which will pop up at speed. Don't know what that speed is. And look, down here you've got a diffuser. Is it a real diffuser? No, it's probably fake, but it looks quite cool. That is the only fake thing on this car. You probably noticed the carbon fiber as well. That's because this is an RS Vorsprung carbon, so you get extra carbony bits on it, and obviously you got your RS badging there as well to denote this is the most powerful version of the e-tron GT. Coming down the sides, you've got really wide haunches, makes the car look muscular, nice creases in the bodywork. This car is riding on 21-inch alloy wheels, so the range kicks off with 20s for the normal e-tron GT. And as you can see, these alloys have these little blades in them to improve their aero, minimise drag and maximise efficiency. And this car is fitted with the carbon ceramic brakes. Check this out though, look at this. There's a carbon fibre roof on RS Vorsprung carbon models. Normal RS e-tron GTs have a panoramic glass roof. Down the side you've got some side skirts. This, once again, in the carbon version, you've got carbon fibre on the door mirror caps. And look, vintage here, which is real vintage. Good work, Audi. Good work. Real vintage, and real vintage here at the front as well. Coming around to the actual grille. Look at this, first time ever an Audi grille has been colour-coded like to the bodywork. There's a little patterning on it there as well to add some texture. Wow, it's a really neat looking car, isn't it? And I like the bonnet design, the way it's sculpted. That is cool. This is a really, really good looking car. Now, if you disagree with me, let me know in the comments below and I'll actually block you from watching our videos. Yeah, because you're wrong. I won't block you, that's not very YouTubey, is it? But you will still be wrong. Here on the inside, the e-tron GT is just as lovely as on the outside. So yeah, round of applause for the interior designers at Audi as well as the exterior designers. Great job, guys. Love the look and the layout of the dash. The different textures and shapes. Carbon fibre here on this one, obviously it's an RS model, so you've got all the bells and whistles. Quality is very good throughout. Oh, it all just feels very solid, well made. The driving position's great as well, and we've got electrical adjustment for the steering wheel. Suitably posh on a car like this. And RS sport seats in this car, and there's loads of adjustment in them as well. I like the way that it feels very sporty, and how you have this central tunnel there separating you from your passenger. I also like the layout of the infotainment system, so it's not too big or distracting like in some other electric cars. It's not. Sorry. Ford Mackie. That's hard to cough under that one. And it's Audi's familiar system, so it's easy to use. You can swipe through the different menus. It's clear, crisp. The processor is quick as well. And you've got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which of course is what you're going to use. I like the way they've done this though. You've got separate buttons for the climate control, so you can just do things like your heated seats, your ventilated seats, your temperature, your fan speed, just by pressing a physical button, which is just much easier to do when you're driving than on some other Audis like the RS6, where you have to do it through like a touchscreen and stuff like that. Now, Audi's updated their digital driver's display for this e-tron, and it's the crispest display I've seen in an Audi yet. It's amazing. Love the graphics on that. As ever, you can choose different views and go through different menus, and you can also change the setup of it in the main infotainment system for various views. I've got it on the special e-tron version, which is like slightly sporty but concentrating on efficiency and range at the same time, which is odd. Yeah, I like that though. It's really, really nice. Another thing to talk about is the storage here inside. So the door bins are an alright size. I can fit an empty bottle of water in it, and the high-vis jacket. Here on the centre console, I've got some cup holders there and a space there for things. It's a bit annoying that it's not quite large enough for the larger mobile phones like my Samsung S20 Galaxy Ultra thingy. It's about time I probably got the new S21. Or should I get an iPhone? Let me know in the comments below. Glove box, that's an alright size, it's fine. Yeah, it's all good. And under here, there's some more storage though. It's rather tiny in there, not much space. You've got your USB connections there and your wireless charging for your mobile phone. Will my big phone fit in there? Oh yes, it will! Thank God for that. There's a little recess part so it does slot in there. In fact, that's really neat, I like that. Yeah, lovely interior, really, really, really nice. Oh, I'll control on the steering wheel as well, it's good. Although it does get grubby after a while if, like me, you like to eat crisps while you're driving along, and then you just get it all in the steering wheel. Too much information. Here in the back of the e-tron GT, it's not bad, you know. So headroom, look, if I sit up straight, I've got about that much. So people over 6 foot should just about be okay. Knee room's really good because what they've done is sculpted out the back of the seat so you get loads of knee room. They've also sculpted out the floor as well, create lots of foot space. Now, Audi call that a foot garage. Yes, there's someone in marketing who's getting paid a lot of money to come up with things like that. Wish I had their job. Anyway, it does mean that there's plenty of foot space, so that's all right. Also, I really like the sculpted sport seats. I just wish that they recline a bit more. No, you can't recline them. Oh well. What about the middle seat? This is supposed to be a 3-seater in the back because look, we've got the extra seat belt. Let's try it out. It's not good. It's not really that good at all. I guess if you wanted to carry 3 people in the back of your electric car, you're better off with an Audi e-tron Sportback or the normal e-tron. A bit more information on practicality. So you've got an armrest here, though it's spoilt slightly by those cup holders. Oh, why don't they have a cover on it? And if you need to carry longer items, such as your skis as you're heading off to the south of France in your electric 4-wheel drive sporty coupe. Yeah, look, you can load your skis through there. Have 2 people either side still. There is one thing, it's all quite dark in here. And the rear windows are quite small, and look, they don't go down particularly far, do they? So I can see the benefit of having the car with a panoramic glass roof. It's a bit of a shame that the RS version doesn't have that. I mean, I don't really need to save weight on the roof. Doesn't matter though, because you can actually fit the panoramic roof to the RS Vorsprung model as an option, a non-cost option. We need to talk about the boot. You see, for a car this size, the capacity you have here isn't all that big, just 366 litres, which is exactly the same as the big capacity on a Porsche Taycan, because underneath the skin, they're pretty much the same car. Now, Tesla Model S's boot capacity is 744 litres, way bigger. But let's talk about this boot for now. So there is a bit of a load lip, but then it is a saloon tailgate. It's not too bad really for a saloon, lifting things in and out. There's some nettage to hold down things such as a small animal you might have just captured. No, you won't have captured an animal because you're a vegan, aren't you? So maybe a vegetable that you've captured. Some little storage pods here and here, 12-volt socket, a little bit of extra storage under here. They don't get too excited because you're not going to be able to fit much in there. Now you can fold down the rear seats to create more space if you need to carry really long items, but you can't do it from in the boot. There is one thing though, look, the hook for hanging your shopping bags off. If you need to fold down the rear seats, you have to go round to the back and do it from here. And then you can, look, there we go. There. Then you have a flattish load floor. Obviously, being an electric car, there is some more storage space underneath the front bonnet because we have a front boot, a fruit. It's only 81 litres in capacity, but I need to do the all-important car reviewer behaving like a child test on it. So I'm going to get in and see if I can fit. Look, will it fit my person? Oh, just about. I'm squeezing in. I could hear some cracking of some plastic parts, but never mind. It's not my car. Oh dear. Oh, right. What happened there? Oh, well, I did fit, but I dislodged this and, oh crap. Look, I've actually cracked it. This car's like on loan from Germany. They're going to go mad at me. I don't think I'm going to do that stupid test again. Anyway, I tell you what's also stupid. Look, the size of this cable bag, it's absolutely huge. So once you put that in there, you basically use up all that space. And that brings me on to 5 annoying things about the e-tron GT. For some reason, the car makes this noise when you reverse and then brake. It's as though the brake discs are going every time they get squeezed by the pads. Weird. Look at this. The way the dash is designed means that when you open the door, it's got this horrible protruding spike, which is just sticking out. So if you're long of leg and you get in, you could accidentally go, ow! Hey, I wish everything in the world would just die! Was that too much overacting? On the RS6 and RS7, you get a little RS mode button on the steering wheel, which lets you toggle between different presets for the driving configuration of the car. Yeah, even though this e-tron GT is the RS model, it doesn't have the RS button, so you have to take your eyes off the road slightly to press the drive select mode down there, which is annoying. So Less RS, more just arse. This is one heavy ass car. It weighs in at 2,347 kilos, which interestingly is 400 kilos heavier than an RS7. If you're the kind of person that likes to rest your elbows when you're on a long distance drive, you'll be fine resting them on that armrest, but not so good resting them over here because there is no armrest. Instead, your elbow ends up in the hard cup holder, just right on the edge of it, right on your funny bone. Ow. It's not all negative though. Here's 5 good things about this car. The RS e-tron gets Audi's top of the range laser headlights, which can do all sorts of things. Obviously they do a little dance and stuff when you start the car, open it and do all that kind of thing. Super cool. Are you a vegan that's offended of having to sit on dead cow? Well, don't worry, you can get your e-tron GT with a vegan-friendly, non-leather interior. Also, you can get floor mats that are made out of 100% recycled nylon parts, so from old carpets and fishing nets. Yes, perfect if you want to get onto Twitter and start virtue signalling about how right on you are. These pedals on the steering wheel don't change gears like in a normal car because this car doesn't have a normal gearbox. Instead, they alter the regen effect when you lift off the accelerator and the braking you get from the motor as it recoups lost energy and puts it back into the batteries. Now, the effect of that can be so severe that you get 0.3 G of deceleration, which if you're an engineer, you'll appreciate is quite a lot. You know, I said this car doesn't have a normal gearbox. It does actually have a 2-speed gearbox on the rear axle. Reason being, that gives you really good, strong initial acceleration, but also decent acceleration when you're going at higher speeds, whereas other electric cars can run out of puff. It's important for a car that's designed to go fast on the Autobahn. Now, the RS version of this e-tron GT also gets an electronically controlled Quattro limited slip differential to maximise traction as you're exiting turns. Because there's no internal combustion engine, the service intervals on this car are actually long, so they're 2 years or 19,000 miles, so you don't have to be messing around with it all that much. Don't know what I'm doing. The e-tron GT has a 93 kilowatt hour battery pack, and that should be good for a range, according to Audi, of 300 miles. But we'll see what the real world range of this car works out to in a moment when I drive it. So the car is capable of charging at 270 kilowatts. And if you can find a charger that'll do that, it will charge from about 10% to 80% full in around half an hour. More likely though, you're going to come across a 50 kilowatt charger, and that'll take you 90 minutes to charge to 80%. This car is powered by 2 electric motors, one at the front, one at the back. In the normal Quattro model, you have a combined 476 horsepower, though for 2.5 seconds you get a boost function that takes that up to 530 horsepower. In this RS version, you have a combined 598 horsepower, and the boost function for 2.5 seconds gives you 646 horsepower. Okay, let's see what this Audi e-tron GT is like to drive. I'm going to start out on faster roads because that is what it's designed for. It's a GT car. Now what I've done is actually reset the trick computer, so I'm going to see what kind of energy consumption I average during my short drive in this car. Now one of the things I should point out first, all but the entry-level version gets air suspension as standard, and you can alter the height of it. And the air suspension, when you're going at higher speeds, is really good at gliding you and wafting you over bumps. Makes it really relaxing. Sometimes electric cars can have a jarring feel when they go over bumps, but this seems to just smooth them out quite nicely. The reason electric cars have such jarring feelings sometimes is because you have to fit them with such stiff suspension. Because they're so heavy, it stops them rolling about. Whereas this one, I think they've done it quite well. Also seems to go around roundabouts pretty well, which is a good thing. I'm driving around Milton Keynes because this is where Audi UK is based, and it's where I picked the car up from, and I've only got a short time with it, so I'm having to drive it around here, but there's a good variation of roads. One thing I'm noticing is a little bit of road noise. This car has some huge tyres on it for maximum grip, but it does mean that you do hear more road noise than if the tyres were thinner. The car is well insulated though, so we've got double glazing on this one, so there's no wind noise at all, but I am just picking up that road noise, partly because I have no engine droning away under the bonnet. Got a silent electric motor. Now if it's a bit too silent for you, I can actually put this car into sports mode, and as well as stiffening up the suspension and sharpening the throttle response and making the steering a bit heavier, it plays some sounds through the car's speakers. So this is fitted with a special Audi sound pack. What's happened is Audi's engineers have worked with sound engineers, and they've created noises for the cars to make, so it doesn't sound like an internal combustion engine car, more like a spacecraft. They've created some strange noises. One of them was created by blowing a fan down a long tube, and it gives a sort of woo sound. Let me see if I can make it do it. Can you hear it when I'm braking and when I accelerate? You hear that noise? I'm not sure about it. It kind of works and gives you this sense of building speed, but it's, I don't know, maybe over time I'll get used to these kind of things, but let's do it again. It's a little bit computer gamey. I'll tell you what, it's also computer gamey. The throttle response, it's like, whoa! You put your foot down and it absolutely flies. That's not really going to help me with my range test much. The seats are comfy, that's good. So for longer distances, you're going to be fine. Driving position's good. One of the good things about Milton Keynes is that there are lots of roundabouts, so you can really check the handling out. This is a heavy car, but all the weight is low down, and maybe the carbon roof is helping a bit with the centre of gravity as well by lowering it. But I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. But this car is going around this roundabout easy. My cameraman's in the car in front. Let's see if we can keep up with him around here. It starts to wash wide eventually. One drawback that I have noticed though is the view out the back window. It's hardly anything. You can't see very much at all. Also, another problem I've noticed is that this window area isn't that big, and this pillar obstructs your view when you're looking across that way, and it's annoying when you're at roundabouts or other junctions trying to pull out. It does just get in the way. Obviously this car's got all the latest safety systems to help you out, so it'll stop you crashing into things, and you know, does auto emergency braking and all of that kind of stuff. Oh, it's starting to lean a little bit now. Well, do you know what? Through testing this on the roundabouts of Milton Keynes, I can tell you this car turns right very well indeed. I'm not sure what it's like at turning left. Hopefully it's better than the Zoolander.
I can't turn left.
Now let's see what this car's like when you're doing lower speeds. It's just round town, or maybe round a housing estate in Milton Keynes. Let's try the suspension over some ruts. It's dealing with those pretty well. Feels like a comfortable car. Round town, over bumps. Look, there's some bad bits. Fine. One of the best, if not the best, riding electric cars I have been in. Oh, actually, I can see a speed hump here. Let's try that. Really good suspension in this car. Let's see how manoeuvrable it is. It's not too bad for a long car. You see, it's got rear wheel steering as standard. So the back wheels can turn in the opposite direction of the front wheels when you're going slowly, and that makes it more manoeuvrable. When you're going quicker, the back wheels go in the same direction as the front wheels to aid high speed stability. So it's not as difficult to park or turn around as you might think. That's really high definition, really nice shot. Great cameras. One other thing I want to try, the brakes. Now, electric car brakes can be a bit jerky when you first press them. Bit grabby. They are a little bit. The reason is that it goes into regen mode rather than initial normal braking. They do that on all electric cars, and it's quite hard to get the balance and the feel just right. And then when you press the pedal harder, you do engage the friction brakes. Now I couldn't tell that transition then. That's actually pretty good. And I suppose I would just get used to the sensitivity of the brake pedal after time. It's definitely better than in a lot of electric cars. I drove a Mercedes EQA the other day, and that was a little bit jerky. Now let's try the Regen Effect to the maximum. So let's put it into full regen mode. What's that like? Can I just drive around without having to touch the brake? It's all right. It's not full one pedal driving like you can get in something like a Nissan Leaf. That will actually use the proper friction brakes to really properly stop you. There is one thing that I'm finding surprising though. I'm driving past quite a lot of people, and no one has looked at my car really and gone, wow. Look at my car, guys, it's brand new Audi e-tron. Maybe it's this camo green colour, I'm just blending in. Will this guy look? Will this guy look? Look, I bet if I... Yeah, there we go, he looked that time. People look if you use the horn. Yeah, it is a young couple. I wonder if they'll look. This guy's gonna look, come on. Look at this beautiful new Audi. Do you like that? Yeah, do you like that? Nah, didn't care. Will she look? Yep, there we go. Look, that's cheating, isn't it? Right, I'm going to pull over and check my economy. I have averaged 3.7 kilometres per kilowatt hour. Now I need to do some maths, people, so bear with me. So the available battery capacity you have on this car is 85 kilowatts, even though the battery pack is 93. The amount you can use is 85 kilowatts. 3.7 kilometres per kilowatt, so 3.7 times 85 equals 314 kilometre range. Turn that into old money, and that translates to a real world range of 196 miles, which isn't that great, is it? It's one of the problems with electric cars. However, one of my favourite things about them is their acceleration, so there is one last thing to do. Right, let's see how quick this car is to 62 miles an hour or 100 kilometers an hour. I'm going to use the special onboard timer of the car itself. See what we do. So left foot on the brake, foot on the throttle, let go of the brake. Blimey. There we go. I had to get on the brakes quickly then, so I'm not breaking the speed limit. 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 3 seconds dead. 3 seconds. Woo! It's quick. Do you know what? I'm going to try that again because I can. What are we going to do this time? Oh, looky here, the exact same time. 3 seconds dead. Let's go again. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. There's a theme here. 0 to 62 miles an hour, 3 seconds dead. I think you'll find. Audi says it'll do it in 3.3 seconds. They're clearly lying. That's good lying. It's German lying. That's how they usually lie about times, the Germans. If it was Italian, it'd be the other way around. They'd be going, oh yeah, it'll do it in 2.5. Never does. Or Americans with the Teslas and stuff. They usually do the same thing. Germans don't. Germans like to understate. So then what's my final verdict on the new Audi e-tron GT? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon you should shortlist the e-tron GT. It is a lovely electric car that's great to drive, lovely to look at, beautiful inside, but it doesn't quite have the range to match a Tesla Model S.